Alright, I'm finally getting ready to watch this movie right here, Harakiri. And this I'm doing as part of a collaboration video with Luke Ryan. Well, this is my part of the video. He has uploaded his part already. But Luke Ryan from RazorwireReviews. And yeah, like I said, he has already uploaded his video a few weeks ago, I think, and I meant to do mine sooner. So I waited with watching his video. I still haven't watched it, but I was gonna do mine like a few days later. But then I just didn't. The first week I had some pretty good excuses why, but then after that I guess I've been lazy. But now I'm finally here to watch the movie Harakiri by Masaki Kobayashi. Um, I guess I should explain what this is before I watch the video. I mean, before I watch the movie. So he approached me to do this. He asked me if I wanted to do this. I don't know when. It was a few months ago, I think. Where I would recommend a movie for him to watch, and then he would recommend a movie for me to watch, and we would make two separate videos talking about the movie. So I'm going to watch Harakiri, which was the one that he chose for me to watch, and then I'm going to talk about it. And then after that, I'm going to show you a clip of Luke talking about Harakiri, why he chose that movie for me to watch. And as you watch that, I'm going to watch it myself as well. And then we'll see what I have to say, if I agree or disagree about what he said. If he has something, if he has, different views on some things that I've previously talked about. Or, if maybe he just has something to say about the movie that I didn't think about, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's true, and, whatever, but I think the point is that I'm supposed to watch the movie and talk about it myself before watching his video clip that he sent me. And I did the same thing to him. I don't know if I said the movie that I chose for him to watch was Andrei Rublev by Andrei Tarkovsky. And if you want to know what, I don't remember if I was supposed to talk about why I chose that movie for him to watch in my video as well, but I mean, I sent the clip to him. The clip is in his video, so if you want to know, watch his video, which I recommend that you do anyway, but be sure to watch mine first. No, but if you haven't seen his video, then I guess it could be a good idea to watch that too, because that's kind of the point with these two videos, I guess, or with this collaboration. Yeah, so I guess that's everything I had to say. And again, I'm really sorry that it took me several weeks to make my video after you made yours, Luke. It just, I don't know, I just didn't find the right time. But the first week, I had good excuses. But anyway, so yeah. But a movie from it's a Japanese movie, 1962, runs for 2 hours and 13 minutes approximately, and yeah, I'm not really gonna talk about this anything. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything right now. I have an idea about what it's. I sort of know what it's about, but I'm not really gonna talk about that now. I'm gonna discuss that after the movie, and we'll see how much I end up saying. I'm not sure really, but yeah. So we'll watch the movie, talk about it, and then we'll see what Luke have to say, and then finally we'll see if there's anything more that I have to say based on what he has to say. Okay, I think you get it. So it's time to watch Harakiri. And welcome back. So Harakiri, I have now watched it. It is actually the next day, so welcome to the future. Well, it's in the past, but it's the future in the past. Compared to the last clip, it's the future, but... So I liked the movie a lot. I thought it was great. I'm not gonna do justice with my few thoughts here. Obviously, you could write a freaking essay about this movie. There's so much to it, both thematically and in terms of what message it has, and also just stylistically. And you could talk about the performers, the actors, all day. I don't know where to start. I feel like I want to say that there's one thing to understand the plot of a movie, which this movie is not that difficult to follow along in the plot and the different twists and turns it takes, because it takes its time with those, and it's a pretty slow-paced movie. Lots of dialogue. The characters, the actors, they talk slowly, and you have a lot of time to follow what happened. I mean, it's not like you're gonna be confused. Wait a minute, what just happened here? I gotta rewind. I did rewind a few times, but that was just because I didn't follow along in the dialogue all the time. But there's nothing. I just said that they spoke slowly, but never mind about that. They do. It's just me. My mind works slowly sometimes. All right, let's move on. So what did I say? Yeah. So you have you can take your time with everything that happens and how the movie progresses, how the story progresses. So it's not that difficult to follow the plot. But then it's another thing to understand the underlying message and the structure of everything, in terms of the message and what the movie wants to tell the viewer, what is underneath the surface. And it says here on the back of the movie, well, I'll just read what it says. I can just show you too if you can't hear what I'm saying. Of all of Masaki Kobayashi's attacks on the cruelty and inhumanity perpetrated by authoritarian power, perhaps none are more brilliant than his visceral, mesmerizing Harakiri. So, attacks on the cruelty and inhumanity perpetrated by authoritarian power. I mean, that's pretty clear, I guess, but I don't think I would have thought about that if I would not have read the back of the Blu-ray. I mean, now there are some things that, I mean, the ending, for example, is... I'm gonna be spoiling this movie, by the way, so I should have mentioned that in the beginning. But I will be spoiling the movie, so if you haven't seen it and wants to see it, maybe you should watch it first. But what I just read on the back, it comes across pretty clearly in the end, and maybe I'll get to that later. But what I'm saying is that maybe I'll focus more on the plot rather than well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I haven't really planned exactly what I'm going to say. I have a few things in mind, but that's always what it is like for me. I talk about a movie spontaneously, and then later I forget. Oh, I was going to mention that thing. Well, I forgot that in the spur of the moment, or what, I don't know. But anyway, so the movie, it opens up with this samurai Hanshiro Tsugumo. Forgive my Japanese pronunciation. Played by Tatsuya Nakadai, and he enters this house of Lin, the manor of Lord, no, not Lin, but Li, the manor of Lord Li, or I think they called it the house of Li as well in the movie. And that's another thing I kind of want to touch on. I guess you would, I mean, I don't know much about the historical context in which the movie takes place. It takes place in, well, between 1619 and 1630 in feudal Japan, so I don't know exactly how things worked back then. So I don't know, I guess that would add a little bit to the overall experience, or to you have more historical knowledge about the movie, or about the just about the historical aspect. I think you would, but you would get more out of it, I think, maybe. So there might be a few things that I'm missing because of that. I don't know what it means, for example, to go into a house or a manor and ask to perform Harakiri. I don't know exactly what that means. I mean, I know that it's probably part of the samurai code or whatever, samurai code of honor, to wanna perform Harakiri, killing yourself, performing ritualistic suicide, to do so at a place which seems suitable to a samurai. I don't know, maybe outside in poverty is not appropriate. I don't know, but still, I don't know exactly what it means. So things like that, I feel like maybe I don't know. I feel like maybe if I know that better, I would have been able to talk about the movie in greater detail and analyze it better. But then again, I don't think most people perhaps know that stuff. Is it part of the common knowledge to know how feudal Japan looked like? I don't know, maybe not. But But it's not exactly necessary, because you do get a lot out of the movie anyway. So maybe I shouldn't focus on that too much, although I guess I just did. But so I'm right at the beginning of the story. He walks into the house of Lee, and he asks to perform Harakiri on himself. And you don't really know why this character wants to do this, but he seems very determined to do this. There's no doubt in his mind that this is what he wants to do. And then, what was his name? Benosuke, was that the guy who told him about the last one? Whatever his name was, I thought he did a great job as well. I know Luke thinks Tatsuya Nakadai is a terrific actor, maybe even one of the best. I can't remember, but I think he said that in a video. I think you said that in a video. And I agree, he was great, but I also liked that actor who played the guy who told him about the last person who tried to perform Harakiri in there. Because that's what happens next. This guy in the house, he tells Tatsuya Nakadai's character about how this has happened before. He wants to persuade him not to do this, I guess. He wants him to be aware that before there was this guy who came in here with the same request that you have. He wanted to come in, perform Harakiri on himself, and things didn't really work out. I mean, they had some unfortunate... it was just rather unfortunate and messy, the whole ordeal. And I think Benosuke, I'm just gonna see if that was his name. Oh no, my bad. His name was Kageyu Saito. Okay, my bad. Not Benosuke. Saito. He receives him, and he tells about this man who went there to do the same thing before. I can't really be this detailed. But as the movie progresses, you find out more and more, and you find out that this other guy who came in, he was actually the son-in-law of Hanshiro. Now my voice starts to go. Anyway, but as the movie progresses, you find out more about what's actually going on. Maybe I won't spoil it. Maybe I won't go through the movie in detail, because I don't really... It's gonna take too long, and I don't think I know the movie well enough to do that either. Even though I just watched it, but the scenes in the courtyard where after Hanshiro, he he will not be moved. He wants to commit Harakiri, and that they take him out to the courtyard, where you have seen the messy death of his son-in-law, and you don't know yet in the plot that he is his son-in-law. That is sort of revealed throughout, and those scenes in the courtyard, they were so engaging. So it was like every piece of dialogue added a new layer to the story, because they talk, like I said, they talk really in a really grave and serious manner, and they talk slowly, and it's like each of their words is sort of weighing down really heavily. And even though I don't know Japanese, and most people who watch this movie outside of Japan probably don't know Japanese, along with the great subtitles that this Blu-ray provides, you still somehow get a lot out of it. You somehow feel like you know what they're talking about, even though you don't understand the language, and that is due to the great acting by the two actors. Tatsuya Nakadai and what's his name? Rentaro Mikuni. Anyway, they're sort of grave, slow-paced, kind of like formal diplomacy almost, between each other. They're bawling between each other. It's just unbelievably captivating, and also the sound design sort of helps, because there's not a lot of things going on the soundtrack, and everything is very well recorded, so the sound quality is great. So you hear every nuance of their voices, and you really feel like it just creates a very tense atmosphere. and you know, with other you know, cinematic aspects, like how the camera moves, and how the lights come down on the set, which all these things are also very subtle and sort of very minimal. But all these things, when all these things come together, when they're out there on the courtyard, Tatsuya Nakadai's character on the thing here, I don't know what to call it, but this square white little rug, it's probably not a rug, but you can see what it looks like. He's sitting there, he's talking to Saito, he's talking to him about his past, he's recounting some of his past, and it's just yeah, it's very tense, very cool atmosphere, and how the camera sort of comes from behind Hanshiro's back sometimes and kind of creeps in on him almost, and the camera allows you to sort of to realize which moments are important in a way, because I mean, it doesn't zoom in quickly like those old cheesy kung fu movies. It does so very slowly onto the face of the characters as they speak, and like I said, great actors, all of them, or both of these characters that mainly do the talking. Anyway, and then if we're gonna jump ahead in the story a little bit, at the end, when you know his intentions, or you know why he's actually there, he's sort of there to confront the, I guess they would be the authorities, about how they handled the matter before, when his son-in-law came in there to commit harakiri, or perform harakiri, whatever. When you know the backstory, as you have been told the backstory by Hanshiro himself, or maybe that was his last name, but anyway, I know I'm doing a horrible job with this review, but let's keep going. So in the end, when you know his intentions, and when he confronts them, and he sort of wants them to kind of know what they've done, they've kind of driven him to harakiri in a way, because he kind of changed his mind. I couldn't figure out exactly why Motomo, what was his name, Motome Chiju. I don't know why I'm trying to pronounce these names. But his son-in-law, I couldn't figure out exactly why he wanted to commit harakiri or perform harakiri. But then I read here, which I just can't believe. If I missed this, then that is quite embarrassing. But it says, I was gonna look up the names here on IMDb, and then I read, the fate of his son-in-law, a young samurai who sought work at the house, but was instead barbarically forced to commit traditional harakiri. My mind is extremely distracted at all times by everything imaginable. So when I watch movies, I miss certain things, and that's always what it's like. So I did not really pick up on that he went there to seek work. I thought he wanted to perform harakiri, and I couldn't figure out why he wanted to perform harakiri. But I did pick up on the fact that he seemed to be very much forced to do so. He changes his mind. I mean, anyway, I felt like he definitely went there because he wanted to kill himself in an honorable manner, but couldn't figure out exactly why. Then, based on what happens in the ending, I was like, why did he go there to perform harakiri right now? But anyway, whatever it was, he was more or less forced because he changed his mind. But the house of Lee sort of told him to, no, if you come in here and you say that you want to perform harakiri, you can't change your mind. Now you have to do it. So in that sense, yeah, they definitely forced him to do it, and that came across. But I didn't pick up on that he wanted to seek work there. Anyway, so I'll just be honest, I don't know about that. But either way, he very much seemed to be forced to do so, and then after that, Hanshiro, sort of, he's told about this, he knows what has sort of happened, and in the end, when he is there still on this rug, whatever, and you realize that what he wants to do is to confront them about what they've done, to realize that maybe they could have handled certain things differently. After that, there's a big fight going on between Hanshiro and everyone in the clan or in the house, and definitely stands out from what has happened previously in the movie, which has been mainly dialogue and slow-paced dialogue and formal chatter. Although this scene was preceded by a couple scenes where Hanshiro kind of hunted down the three people who were maybe the most responsible for the cruelty, or three of the people anyway who he felt was responsible for the cruelty that just what his son-in-law had to go through in there, because he had to stab himself with a dull bamboo blade, which was an extremely visceral scene, by the way, which was kind of shocking because this is a movie from the early 60s. And that was a great scene, but it was very gut-wrenching. No, but it was very, very visceral, very graphic, and kind of hard to watch in a way. I kind of wanted to hold my stomach. But yes, we have seen some scenes where he hunts these people down, or at least two of them, and then the third one is more prepared, so he kind of comes to Hanshiro's house. And they go out to these hills on this field and whatever, and they have a final duel. So there has been a few of those scenes, but not much, not to the extent where we have in the ending, where he's running around in the house, killing 4 people, I think, and then eventually getting killed himself. And here in the ending, like I said in the beginning of this kind of desultory review here, is the sort of the symbol of the thing with the authority and the cruelty and inhumanity perpetrated by the authoritarian power. Because in the beginning we have seen a few images of out of context, completely out of context, of this. I don't know if there's a picture here on the back. Yeah, there is actually. I figure there would be on the third picture right there, which is not a person. It's just a suit, a samurai suit sitting in a room by itself, and I'm guessing that was sort of the symbol of the samurai code and of maybe ultimately authoritarian power too, and the hypocrisy. I thought that because we see a few shots of him, of that suit in the beginning, like I said, we don't really know why we do, but then in the ending we get back to that suit. We have kind of gotten back to it a little bit before. But in the ending, Hanshiro, as he's running around through the house, he kind of bursts through this wall and he falls into the room where this samurai suit is. And eventually he picks up the suit and throws it down onto the floor. That's sort of felt like a very clear sign that he wanted to sort of show how he didn't agree with how they handled things, or he wanted to denounce this whole practice or whatever. But then in the ending we see the suit still, it's sitting upright again. They have kind of put it back after Hanshiro dies. They have put it back and it's sitting there neatly once again. So I don't know exactly if this movie was supposed to be a comment on how things looked like in the past, or if they used the Jidaigeki genre to comment on something in the present. I don't really know what went on in Japan in 1962, but I think some movies did that. They used the past Jidaigeki genre, or the Jidaigeki genre where movies take place in the past, in order to comment metaphorically on the present. I don't know if this movie was one of those movies. Maybe not. But it still seems clear that the authority stance or whatever, the Hanshiro tried to do what he could to perhaps make them realize what they had done, like I said before, but they didn't realize anything, and everything is just the way that it was. That's sort of what I got out of the movie. And I think if you haven't seen the movie, if you listen to me talking about the movie without having seen it, maybe you don't really know what to make of it. But I think you really need to see it. Even though I've now maybe spoiled it, you should probably see it. If you have seen the movie, maybe you can forgive me for some of the inconsistencies in this little review here, but I want to make it clear that I really love the movie, but that my mind unfortunately is tortured by distraction. So I missed a couple things in the movie, but like I said, it's not a difficult movie to follow. Kind of ironic, I guess, because I said that in the beginning. It's not difficult to follow, and then I bump into that thing which, like, what the hell? That's what happened. Alright, now it's time to watch Luke's video. Let's see what he has to say.
Alright, so Joel, the movie I picked for you for this was, of course, Harakiri, and the reason I picked it was because I think it's one of those films that just blew me away when I saw it. I'm a big fan of Japanese cinema, but this is never one I'd heard of. I'd heard of Seven Samurai, Hidden Fortress, you know, all that kind of stuff, Throne of Blood, but I'd never heard of Harakiri by Masaaki Kobayashi, who's a fantastic director, and it stars again Tatsuya Nakadai, who you might have talked about in your video, I don't know, but he's an amazing actor who's been in plenty of films with Kobayashi directing, Kurosawa directing. He's an incredible actor, and I just love the story, the way that it's told, the tension. You know, within the first 25 minutes I was just like, where is this going? And I was so tense, and just the way it plays out towards that ending is just, it's just a beautiful film. I love it, and again, it's not one of the ones I hear about that much, and I feel like it should be talked about more. So that's the reason I picked it for you to check out, and hopefully you enjoyed it.
Right, okay, thank you, Luke, and I apologize that you had to film the video twice, because I screwed up. I somehow lost, I guess in a way I lost the video. So we had to do that again. So sorry about that, and thank you for your brief thoughts on the movie. And sorry, I had to film my laptop. There are some problems with downloading the video and including it in the actual video, so I hope that you don't mind me filming my screen. Not the best solution, but at least you could hear what he said. And yes, Tatsuya Nakadai. I might still not be pronouncing his name correctly, but I think I briefly talked about that. Oh, by the way, it's the next day again, so this is like, I don't know if you can see my shirts here, but it's like a fashion show all of a sudden. It's like, filmed over 3 consecutive days, this video. Anyway, yeah, he was, terrific actor. I definitely agree. I think he was in Yojimbo, was he? Possibly, and I've seen that, so I've seen at least one more movie with him, and he was great in that, but I gotta admit that it's been a few years, so while I remember his character, I don't really remember exactly his performance, so I don't really have much to compare with, but in this movie he was absolutely great. The way he, I talked about his graveness, how he was grave, how he really, he doesn't have a lot of facial expression when he sits there and he explains what he wants to do, and eventually why he wants to do it, I guess, and what his intentions really are. But then in the flashbacks, we see him as a completely different character, and he's like, as it feels like, I get the impression that as soon as he walks into that house of Lee, he's like a changed man, and that's it takes a good actor to pull that off, because in the flashbacks, he acts normal. I mean, normal. He acts like a happy family man, I guess. I mean, sort of. He cuddles with the baby and stuff like that, and he's just a completely different man than when he walks into that house, and I think that takes a real good character, a real good actor to pull off. The tension, yeah, it's very tense. It's I don't know if I necessarily use that word. Well, it just creates a very tense atmosphere. But I absolutely agree that it's tense when they have that long discussion or whatever in the courtyard. I said that every line adds a new layer on the story, and whatever I said something like that, and it definitely creates a very tense atmosphere, and you didn't know where it was going within the first, whatever, 20-25 minutes, whatever you said, and I thought, I was thinking the same. I did not know where it was going either. I really did not, and it really takes you along for a bit of a ride. I mean, it's rather unpredictable. You don't really know what's coming, and that's because of the, well, I mean, it's because of the great writing, but also because of the fantastic performances. They really pull you into the story, to the movie, into that courtyard, and you're like you're listening to their every word, and you just, you know, I mean, what's gonna happen next? It's, yeah. And then you said that it was a beautiful film, which I don't think I mentioned this, but in a way it's also about familial well, love for your family, and for the, well, just what you do for the people you love. And I agree, it is a beautiful film. It doesn't end on an upbeat note, you know, but it's still beautiful for sure. It's yeah, and that the fact that it's a movie that has not been talked about as much, I agree with that as well. Good point for sure. I you know, you do hear about Seven Samurai and a lot of Kurosawa movies, I guess, mainly, and some, well, a lot of Osu and some Mitsuguchi, but I guess Kobayashi is not really at the top, and maybe he should be among those three. Maybe it should be the big four, with Kurosawa, Osu, Mizoguchi, and Kobayashi. But yeah, I don't think I've seen anything else by Kobayashi, but I know you like the Human Condition trilogy as well, which I think was one of the many titles in the list that you provided me, you know, for this video here, that I was. I mean, it was one of the titles that you could have chosen for me to watch, but it's of course a long trilogy. But maybe now when Arrow releases it, I'm gonna have to get it on Blu-ray. We'll see. But yeah, my point is that I just go on and on. No, but that I've only seen Harakiri by Kobayashi, I'm pretty sure. But it was a pretty good introduction. It's yeah, terrific movie. More people should talk about it. More people should watch it. And like I said, I mean, now I've, not that I did a good job with the review, and well, I did my best, but I'm not very satisfied with my review. But still, I guess I did spoil the movie for you if you've not seen it. But you should, I mean, you can still go ahead and watch it if you haven't seen it. It really is worth a watch. Maybe wait a few years so that you forget what I said, and then you're like, oh yeah, Harakiri. Now I forgot what Jolly Studio 1 said. Now I can watch it without knowing what's gonna happen. Or if you don't care, just check it out. Anyway. Alright. Well, that's it. That's my contribution to this little collaboration. It was fun. It took a while for us to actually get around to film our videos. But it was fun. And thank you for asking me to do this. And yeah, and thanks to everybody who wanted to watch, and I hope you watch Luke's video as well, if you haven't already, which I have not still, but I'm looking forward to doing so right now, or later today. The reason why I didn't want to watch it before making my own video is vague. No, but I don't know, I just felt like making my own without kinda knowing what he thought about. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I just somehow felt like waiting. But right now I'm gonna be watching his video, or your video. But alright, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, like I said, and I'll talk to you later.